Good morning. Welcome back to the garden. Today we are continuing our 6-part series. We've already talked about potatoes, tomatoes, our cucumbers and squash, and talked about resetting our garden beds. And so today is part 5 of our 6-part series, and we are going to be talking about beans and okra. How do we maintain our beans? In particular, I'm growing bush beans. So how you maintain your bush beans and how do you maintain your okra beds through the season, through those hot summer months like we're having today. So come along and let's talk about garden maintenance for beans and okra.
Welcome to Grow It Anyway, where imperfect gardens still grow. If your plants don't look Pinterest perfect, you're in the right place. So come on, let's grow it anyway together.
All right, so here we are in our bean bed. So as beans, these are our bush beans. These are just our burpees, regular old bush beans. So as they grow, you'll see that the bottom leaves tend to start getting yellow. And that's because it's putting its energy up here into new growth. And you see here, we've got some blooms on there. We're getting ready to start making some beans. So it starts putting all of its energy up top, and these bottom leaves here will start yellowing. So what I like to do, you can see at the bottom, there's 2 bottom leaves right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prune these 2 bottom leaves. The bottom leaves will start yellowing, but they also are susceptible to fungus and other diseases because they're so close to that splash zone that we were talking about with our tomatoes. So let's prune these beans. Also, when we're pruning these bottom 2 leaves, it gives some airflow through the bed as well, because as we're dealing with the hot temperatures of summer, and especially here in zones 7A and 7B, it gets very humid. In your other southern zones, it's very humid. So you want to have good airflow. I don't generally have blight on my beans, but they will get a powdery type mildew on there. So I'm going to show you this right here. This is a good example on this plant here of the bottom 2 leaves yellowing. And so it's not going to harm the plant. It's actually going to encourage more growth because they're not putting any energy into these bottom leaves. And so they can grow taller, stronger, and produce more fruit. All right, let's finish the rest of the bed. Okay, so after we've taken off those bottom leaves, we also, when we're pruning, we want to go through and check and see if there's any dead, diseased, or dying leaves. We always look at that with any plant in the garden. I've got some leaves here that have been eaten on by some grasshoppers. I don't want them to put any energy into those leaves, so I'm going to go ahead and take those off as well. Like this one's got some holes. It's not browning or anything. That's a top leaf. I'm just going to leave that. Also, I'm going to check the back of my leaves for pests. So after we prune or while we're pruning, just as you walk through your garden in the evening or in the morning when you're checking that out, just check for pests. I don't see any pests on here except for I do see a couple of ants. I don't see any aphids or anything like that. A little bit of pest damage, you're still going to have a crop of beans, but you just want to make sure that you're keeping those pests off. A good natural way that I've always found that was really great for my pests and my bush beans is just using DE. I go in in the morning whenever it's nice and nice and dew on everything. I just sprinkle some DE on it. Be mindful though that you are going to have blooms on here. You're going to want good pollinators on your beans and pollinating your beans. So a little bit of pest may be fine to keep them on there. Aphids, you can spray with a water hose to get those off with a good water hose, but other than that, you probably want to just be mindful that you need pollinators in your beans. Whenever I went through and was pruning, the other thing that I did is I checked for my spacing. So I've got a plant right here. I've got 2 plants here, and then you've got this little one in the middle. That's probably about 1 inch apart. That is just going to be too close. So don't be afraid to go ahead and get rid of those extra plants that you don't need. So let's talk about watering. So when watering your beans, it's very, very important to go ahead and do it from the bottom. You know that I've got a drip line throughout all of my bean beds. So you want to make sure that you are watering from the bottom. If you water from the top, you can cause some of those mildew issues and make it more susceptible to diseases. So whenever you water your beans, just make sure that you're doing that from the bottom, and make sure your watering's consistent. If you've had a lot of rain, wait till it dries out so that you're not overwatering your beans. The other thing that helps maintain a consistent moisture level with your beans is mulch. You hear me say this all the time: mulch, 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 mulch. I have a very thick layer of mulch in here because beans thrive in the heat of the summer, and they do very, very well. But I mean, you don't want, because of that heat, you don't want them to completely dry out. So just make sure that you water consistently from the bottom and have a thick layer of mulch on top to keep that soil nice and moist throughout these hot summer months. All right, here we are in our 3rd bed of beans, and as I am going to go through here and just prune these beans, I want to talk to you about fertilizing. Now, the one good thing about beans is, and all of your legumes like peas and beans, they put nitrogen back in the soil. So if you put a heavy layer, or if you fertilize them regularly with nitrogen, you're going to come up with this amazing, leafy, beautifully green plant that's not producing necessarily, or at least not producing what it could be or should be. So if it looks like your plants are suffering and you suspect that they need some fertilizer, then I suggest that you just side dress it with a good layer of compost. You can use a regular 444 all-purpose organic fertilizer. Sure, feed it every 6 weeks or whatever your soil needs, but if you're using really good nutrient-rich soil, you should not have to fertilize much. But if you are, compost is the way to go. You can see these were pretty bushy here, which is great, but we need to increase that airflow by pruning. And I'm checking for pests, checking my water level. It rained this morning. It rained this morning, and it looks like the airflow just does need to be increased. I mean, look at this big tall guy there. So right now, these have flowers on them. If you can see, show you. They've got flowers on them. And so they are going to be producing beans here before too long. Here's the deal with whenever they start producing beans, another way to maintain your beans and ensure that they're going to continue to grow is that you want to pick the beans as soon as they're the size that you prefer. Don't wait until they turn yellow. You've let them go too long. Pick them when they look like a regular green bean. This is a great thing about bush beans. The more you pick, the more they're going to produce. So make sure that you stay on top of gathering that fruit and picking your green beans so it will continue to grow and produce beans. If they think that their job is done, once, you know, a plant just wants to produce seeds. So once they produce their seeds, and if you let them go to seed or get too ripe, then that's going to trigger that plant that they don't need to produce anymore. Their job is done. We don't want that. We want to take those away from them, take those babies away from them, and so they will continue to produce those green beans. And that will give you a very healthy harvest. Okay, the last thing that we need to do in maintaining our beans is just make sure that the soil is nice and loose so it can breathe. Now, what that means is you can go down between the rows or around your plant and just break up the soil a little bit, just like that. That allows the area to breathe, get some nice aeration of the soil, and you're not disturbing the roots of the plant at all. And then you just remulch, redistribute that mulch over it. This will also help with compaction. You don't have to do it too deep. You don't want to do it too deep because beans are a very shallow crop, but we want to make sure that it's got enough air in that soil and the roots don't rot. All right, so here we are at the end of our okra bed, and the first thing I have to show you is my poppies. I have never grown poppies before. To be honest, I didn't know poppies would grow in my zone. So I have poppies. I tried to do these in the greenhouse, and they did not go. But what I ended up doing is just direct seeding them in the end of my garden bed for my okra. I've got marigolds and nasturtiums on the one end down next to my cucumbers, and this got poppies down here because this is supposed to be a trap plant. Again, just trying to do some companion planting to try to naturally deter pests from my plants. So look at this okra. I mean, it's a good size. We've got plants anywhere from, 6 inches to maybe 8 inches. And so they're really starting to come on. Same thing with our beans that you would do with our okra. Just go through, make sure you don't have any diseases. Check the back of your leaves to make sure that you don't have any pests or eggs from pests back there. I mean, this doesn't even look like the grasshoppers have gotten them on them yet. You will see that I've got a good layer of mulch on here. This soil is, I probably have a good, probably 2 to 3 inches of mulch. Now, okra thrives in drought conditions. So I don't mix anything in other than these flowers with my okra because they do not take as much water as a lot of your other vegetables. So because they love heat, they love drought, they just do very well. One thing that I did notice though, like with a couple of these plants. Let me move you to show you. Okay, so one thing I noticed with these plants is, I overseeded, and I'm getting 2 plants coming up together. So what I'm going to do, just like I would do with my carrots or other, I'm going to thin them out, because once these plants get large, they're going to take up about a foot worth of space. And I've got them in here pretty close together already, but I can't have 2 plants competing for light, for nutrients, and for space. So I am just going to go ahead and take those down. I'm going to take off their first leaves. I might wait a little bit because these are still really green. But see, here we've got 2 plants that are really close together. As much as I would love to keep both of them, it's just not going to be good for the plants. So I'm going to go through on maintaining my garden bed. I'm going to go through just checking everything for diseased, dying, damaged leaves. I'm going to go ahead and check for pests, and I am going to thin out my okra. It looks like everything is doing well. Not too much pest pressure yet with the okra. Beans aren't too bad. They are blooming or getting ready to make some beans. Did address the ant problem by putting in some DE into the bottom of these beds. So the takeaway today is with beans and okra, they are 2 of the easiest crops to grow, in my opinion. Water from the bottom, make sure you mulch, take off all of those dead, diseased, and dying leaves, and always pick your okra whenever it's matured, pick your beans whenever it's mature, and the more you pick, the more you're going to get. Good luck with your beans, good luck with your okra, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining. Bye.